Good evening. Before I begin, I'd like to welcome Chancellor Severud and Dr. Chen. I'd like to express my gratitude to University College Dean B. Gonzalez for asking me to deliver this address. I'd like to welcome any trustees in the audience, and I'd like to thank Bonnie for talking about the in-breath and the out-breath, because this is the first time I've ever spoken at a convocation, and that's something I can use right now. It is just such an honor and such a pleasure to become part of the echoes at Hendricks. I mean, this amazing, wonderful building. I can't imagine a more meaningful opportunity or an audience that provides a more powerful sense of communion. Now to you, our soon-to-be graduates, I understand the way this traditionally works. You're building toward commencement, an unforgettably joyous moment in your lives, and a convocation speaker comes in and attempts to say something inspirational. But tonight, honestly, I want to turn that on its head, because I don't come here tonight to offer inspiration. I don't bring any inspiration at all. I come here to thank you for providing it to us. Seriously, you don't need anyone to tell you about overcoming struggle. You've faced it, you've defeated it, that's already happened. Take a look around this room. A few weeks ago, I had the absolute blessing of attending a reception for the Higher Education Opportunity Program Awards, where many of you were honored for academic accomplishments. I'll use no names because I believe this. Each story was symbolic of this entire group. This gathering is an opportunity to honor every one of you for absolutely extraordinary achievement, and that honor binds you together as family, as an extraordinary Syracuse University community. By profession, I'm a writer, a storyteller, and I spent a lot of time at that reception talking to men and women who received diplomas this week. I heard stories from students who raised little children and worked pouring coffee or making sandwiches and somehow still found the time to make it to class and go to school. I heard stories from men and women who had the commitment to come to this university for 7, 8, 9, 10 years to get that degree, just the interior grit to pull that off. I heard stories from people who understood the truth of struggle in this country, who balanced their budgets and knew what it was like to get 8 a.m. calls from bill collectors on Sunday morning that wake up your children. An all too familiar experience. They spoke of digging for change beneath couch cushions. They spoke of bringing bottles back to the store, not as some light act of conscience, but because that money contributed to meals. They still studied. Somehow they managed to get to class. I heard stories from people born in Iraq who saw places they loved lost to acts of horror beyond our imagination, then came to Syracuse speaking no English and found the courage to go to college. I spoke to a young man from Sudan who fled on foot as an 8-year-old when his village was destroyed. A young man who cared for his 4-year-old brother during that flight because their parents were dead. Somehow they ended up in Syracuse, a city with a strange language and strange customs and a hard winter that covers half the year. They succeeded. Imagine that. That journey continues. All of you, against the odds, share one thing. You saw something beautiful in this university on a hill, an opportunity to attain knowledge and hope. To get to class, many of you walked or rode the bus or scrambled to get rides. Many of you are parents who had to find someone to help you watch your children. Many of you stayed up late, exhausted, doing your homework, and then rolled out of bed early to make it to jobs as healthcare aides or fast food clerks or cab drivers or whatever work you could find to care for your family. Honorable, hard work. Many of you came out of situations of struggle or grief or loss where you had every reason to say of college, this is too much, this cannot be done, and here you are. You did it. You're in Hendricks, answering those echoes. You're at this great university, about to celebrate the achievement that is the absolute symbol of your courage, your resilience, your dreams. So often you said you did it for someone else, for your parents who gave so much for you and never had this chance. for your children or even your grandchildren, so they would have better lives. And so more than anything, they would have a model for what they could accomplish. And me, I'm supposed to come up here and bring you inspiration? The inspiration's right in front of me. The only mission I would suggest is a fundamental one. Keep going. If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's this. My own parents were orphans. They came from nothing, from hard circumstance. And they came together to raise us and to show us one truth. Our great treasure in this country does not involve money or jewels or buying a nice car. Our great treasure comes from our stories. And the greatest stories are always built on struggle and pain and resilience. So we've got a treasury here tonight. The fact that you are here means you already represent treasure beyond words. And I would simply say to you, don't stop. Take all the power, strength, and courage in this hall and use it for the rest of your lives like a rocket. Use it to provide belief for your children and the children you meet down the street, because those children are also our responsibility. Use it as a shining light to give inspiration to the next generation, because there are too many boys and girls without hope in this city. Boys and girls who have lost sight of that light, and they need examples. They need to believe. They need you to show them what they can become. Because you've done it. You're here. What a brave, grand, and wonderful feat. You ask me to provide inspiration? Here's what I'll tell you. Go and find a mirror. The inspiration comes from you. Look around this hall. Look at the faces of men and women who, like you, understand what it means to work, to love, to persevere. They're not just fellow graduates. They're your family at University College. And I tell all of you to go out and change the world, except for one thing. You've already done it. Please, just keep going. We need you to inspire us some more. Thank you.